The Minnesota Timberwolves just picked up the most interesting prospect in the draft because Joan Beringer is a guy that can come in and replace Rudy Gobert down the line. Of course, Rudy Gobert with his 3-year, $111 million contract because he's extremely athletic, can protect the rim, can run the floor, and he now joins a young core. Of course, Anthony Edwards is still very young, but of guys like Jalen Clark, Terrence Shannon Jr., and Rob Dillingham. And this Timberwolves team has been drafting exceptionally well as of late. Now, what makes Behringer so enticing, obviously, is his age. I personally wouldn't have taken him at 17. I did have a first-round grade on him, but I thought 17 was a little high. He's a great rim runner, runs the floor very well. Look at the long strides, covering a ton of ground, and also is a fantastic roller in the pick and roll. He rolls to the rim really hard. That's something that is a kind of hidden art in today's NBA. Nobody talks about it, but if you're rolling hard to the rim, the point guard's going to find you because there is so much based out of the pick and roll in the modern NBA. He's got decent hands for a big, as you can see here. Some of these are tough passes, and he's still able to go get it and then flush it. Now, he only averaged 4.9 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, and 0.5 steals to go with 1.5 blocks per game this year in 18 minutes a night. But look at him run the floor, getting down the court in a hurry. Shot 59% from the field. Now, there is like no resemblance of a three-point jumper as he only shot 60% from the free throw line, but as of right now, he's a rim rolling, rim protecting big with good hands. Like, look at that. That is not something you see every day. He's a good rim protector as well, playing well in the drop right here. As you see the dribble handoff, he's in drop coverage. As the ball handler tries to attack him, he leaves enough space to where he can recover, but also won't get blown by and plays it perfectly. Then a great closeout here using that length to get the block on the three-point shot right here. Once again, out of the pick and roll, gets cooked, but is able to recover and still get the block. Here he is in drop coverage. The defender hits him with a disgusting in and out little pickup dribble. He flips his hips and is still able to make a play on the ball. That is fantastic right there. And then right here, just roaming freely in the paint, playing a little bit of the free safety role, gets the block, stunts at him, and then get it out of here. He's 6'11" with a 7'4" wingspan, so he can really deter shots at the rim and is a fantastic rim protector. That's maybe his best quality right now, is his rim protection. Yes, he's a good rim runner and a great athlete, but his rim protection is fantastic. But also what makes him such a good rim protector is his athleticism and is also his ability to play drop coverage and also switch onto smaller guards or bigger bigs, and he has that versatility on the defensive side of the ball. Now, the motor is fantastic as well. Look at that right there. The offensive rebound ended up on his face, but it doesn't matter because he got the and one. He is fantastic at trailing behind plays and getting putback dunks. He is 230 pounds, so he can kind of bully his way inside. He's bigger than he looks. He's got good legs on him. And as you can see right here, just fighting through box outs and getting putback dunks, very high motor. And then the potential. This is what people love. This is why the Timberwolves took him almost in the lottery. Rip through right here, low pickup, and one hanging from the rim. As you can see, turn around, face up, rip through, blow by. Right, the defender is going to stunt in here, and he is a low pickup. That's a foul. That's a foul. 3 fouls, and still gets the dunk to go. And then here in the pick and roll, he can develop into being a short roll operator as he catches here, catches off of 2 feet, kind of, and then turns around, surveys the situation. He's going to throw it to the corner. Defender rotates. So, all right, he pivots out, finds the point guard, Louisville legend Carlik Jones, for the 3-ball, and then rotating off of the pick and roll and still going to get the block, high pointing that shot. He's able to switch on to the guard. Now he's going to recover to the big. His defender leaves him out to dry because he didn't stunt well enough. He does, but he's not there, so he's going to recover to the big, flip his hips, and go high point this almost at the corner of the backboard. Fantastic defense right there. And then a rip through on the baseline, catching right here, and rip through, goes score. He sees the defender closing out, not a good closeout, rips through, and not a crazy punch, just a nice little respectful flush. And then here, look at the footwork, right? An up and then under again, pump fake, and then finally goes and gets the and one to go. Out here in transition, a little Euro step, a little bit of flash, a little bit of flair to his game in transition here. Not just an athlete, right? He's got a little bit of poise to him. He can eventually replace Rudy Gobert, the other French center on this roster. And when you look at Gobert, Gobert and Behringer, Gobert is just a more advanced version of Behringer. And that makes sense because Behringer's 18, doesn't turn 19 till almost Christmas, and Rudy is 33 years old on a 3-year, $111 million contract. For the Wolves to have more cap flexibility, they're probably going to need to move on from Rudy soon, and when that happens, Behringer can step right into that role and develop. I would have loved Thomas Sorber for them because he's more of a win-now guy, but Behringer, in the long run, could have more potential. Gobert's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, so I'm not saying he's going to be Gobert on defense, but he's got the potential to grow into that. Gobert has anchored back-to-back top 5 defenses for this Timberwolves team, so it's going to be some big shoes to fill, but I think Behringer can do it. Now, in the second round, y'all wouldn't have heard the end of it if the Wolves ended up getting Fleming at 31, but they traded back. They picked up a couple of extra seconds in 26 and 32, and then they also got the 36th pick, which they then traded for cash and number 45, which Rocco could end up being a pretty big steal. But Fleming, man, if they would have got Fleming, perfect fit, perfect add to this Wolves team, but they traded, and they have a bunch of seconds now in the future. They now have 2 in 2026, 1 in 2027, and then they have their own in 2028, so good draft capital in the future. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button. As you can see here, a large majority of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Now, back to the Wolves, and the latest Wolves news is that Naz Reid is staying in town, 5 years, $125 million, and by the end of this contract, that's kind of going to be a steal. And it is backloaded, but we're talking about $21 million this year for Naz Reid. Not bad whatsoever. They still got $15 million before they hit the first apron and $27 million before they hit the second apron. Naz averaged about 14.2 points, 6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, a block in 27 minutes per game last year in what was a very productive season for him at the backup center spot. Played a little bit of the 4 as well, 46% shooting from the field, 38% from 3 on 6 attempts. I really thought we were going to get a Naz Reid game at some point in this Thunder series because he went off against them in the regular season last year. It just never happened. He was kind of quiet, and they really anticipated his spins so well. He was really never able to get going. Looking at the rest of the youth, though, for the Wolves, on top of Joan Beringer, they got, of course, their top 10 pick from last year's class, Rob Dillingham, who I think is ready to step into the point guard spot potentially. Maybe not right away, but they could look to move Mike Conley this offseason, save $10 million, and move the young guy that you just invested 2 future firsts and a top 10 pick into. He's still only 20 years old. I think he's ready to roll. He looked good in the minutes that he got this year. And another guy that looked really good in the minutes that he got is Terrence Shannon Jr., who Chris Finch has already said is going to be a big-time part of this rotation next year if they probably will lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker now that they've re-signed Naz Reid. So Terrence Shannon Jr. is probably going to have to step into a bigger role, and he's going to be 25. That is the downside of drafting an older prospect, that after his rookie year, he will be 25 going into his sophomore season, but he's a hooper, and he's going to be a good piece to this rotation for a little while now. And then Jalen Clark, who might have been the best young guy of them all last year, of the 3, is back as well. If they do decide to go elsewhere from Dante DiVincenzo, which I don't expect them to do, but if they do, they have that flexibility because Jalen Clark's just 23 years old, played really good defense when needed to last year, and also shot the 3 ball pretty well. Could have been in that playoff rotation, but they'll have a little bit more depth this year, and Ant is still, of course, just 23 years old. This is what the lineup will look like if they run it back with everybody, although, like I said, I see them trying to shed some salary with maybe Mike Conley moving on, but Ant, McDaniels, Julius, and Rudy are probably guaranteed back. And then right now, this is what the bench would look like. And it's not a bad 5 whatsoever. This team has a lot more depth than they did last year with Rob, Dante, Jalen Clark, TSJ, and Naz, and of course, Behringer. So yeah, I like this Wolves team. I think they got the most interesting center prospect in this draft. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.